Okay, perfect. All right, you guys, well, welcome to our Body Electric webinar tonight. Sort of a one-off. I don't think we've ever done a Monday night webinar, but it's been a while since we've had any sort of organized format for our webinars. We've had some relatively recent special guests on, but it's been a long time since I've seen your faces aside from Summit, of course. So I'm excited to be hosting the call. I'm excited to be sharing with you my vision for the rest of 2018, heading into a little bit of early 2019. I really feel like coming out of Summit that I sort of have this sort of reinvigorated fire. And I know a lot of you guys felt that way. I feel like Summit just spoke directly to what a lot of us needed to hear. So I wanted to just be really like down to earth and casual about this. And I wanted to make sure that I speak to you sort of about just where I've been and where I'm personally heading and where I'm hoping to take the team. And I'm hoping that if you want to take notes, you can take notes, but I really just hope that you're here to just listen to me as your friend and listen to me as the leader of the team, and to really just say at the end of this, why not go all in and why not be part of something really big? So I made a PowerPoint because I know it's like 50-50. Every time I ask my leaders, do you want me to do a PowerPoint? Some people are like, no. Some people are like, yeah, it's a great visual. And for me, honestly, it helps me stay on track because you guys know I can kind of easily get off track. So I do have some slides to show you and to kind of help me facilitate what I want to share. So let me see if I can share them real quick. So when I do this though, I can't see your faces anymore, which is kind of sad. I can see a couple of you, but it makes my PowerPoint bigger on the screen. So I can see that instead of seeing your shining faces. So, okay, so let's dive straight in. And if you guys have like a question that you're dying to ask, or if you want to pipe in and say something, please feel free to just unmute yourself and dive straight in. We can dive straight into your question. Otherwise, I can take questions at the very end. But really, I wanted to make sure this was high level enough that everybody on the team can understand where we're heading, right? I wanted to make sure that we knew, I know that you're gonna have specific questions about specific strategies that I'm gonna talk about, but if I would have done slides for every strategy that I'm gonna talk about, we would have been here for like 2 hours. So I figured it was more important to just talk about the overall vision, where we're headed, and the high level strategies. And then for me to just break those strategies down in live streams on the team page, or maybe future webinars moving forward. So that's kind of my thought here. So first of all, big thank you to those of you who came to Summit. We had a great time. There were around 50-ish coaches from our team that represented our team in Indy. And obviously next year it's in Indy again. So I wanted to make sure that I brought this up early on because I want you guys to have your ticket for Summit next year, right? They're offering a really cool early bird price. If you haven't already registered, you've got to do it. You've got to get to Indy next July. So they've moved the dates back a little bit. So now it's in the middle of July. I personally like that better, just me speaking. I know it helps the East Coasters out as well who are still in school in June. So it'll be really fun. I mean, so far you guys might have heard it today on the wake up call. Sandy Buadana even said it was the best host city they've ever had for Summit. Just everywhere was really easy to access. Everything was awesome. So if you weren't there, you totally missed out, and you've got to be there next year. So if you haven't gotten your early bird ticket, please do. Okay, so I'm gonna dive straight in. So I wanted to make sure I made this as visual as possible because I realized that there are gonna be some of you guys that maybe I haven't met before. And so I wanted to make sure that you kind of get a feeling for who I am and my life. So you guys know that in the last approximately 21 and a half months, which is how old my daughter is, that my personal business has looked a lot different than it did before Ellery was born, right? So just getting this off the table right off the bat, prior to her arrival in September of 2016, my business was me working this business full time, waking up pretty much whenever I wanted to, working my business a little bit in the morning, if I felt like it in the afternoon, and then again in the evening. I sort of had a very flexible schedule. And when she was born, of course, you guys know, those of you who have kids especially, that everything was turned upside down. And this is the perfect example of that, right? Like I have whiteboards all over my office. Some of you guys have seen them. And prior to kids, my whiteboards were perfection, right? Like I had all my ideas, all of my tracking, everything on those whiteboards. And this is just the perfect example. So as you can see, I had my 2018 goals. They were a little more legible because I had the entire whiteboard filled heading into 2018. But as you can see, these scribbles and deletions are all a result of my toddler, who now, of course, we have to elevate my whiteboard off the floor so that she can't access it. So, but I just thought that was super analogous and super, I guess I should say metaphorical to sort of what my business has looked like. All of my best laid plans, my type A personality has just been completely sort of turned upside down because I have this human in my life now that lives by no schedule, that has basically her own motives. And so my business as a result, has been a little bit different looking in the last couple of years. So why does that matter, right? So you guys know, right? We're a 2-time elite team, technically a 3-time top 200 team. But if we want to make sure that we resurrect that awesomeness, if we want to, again, accomplish top 200, if we want to take a stab at becoming another elite team, then this is what it's going to look like. Okay. So I'm using lots of metaphors tonight. Hopefully you don't think I'm super cheesy, but, I am from the town of Milan, right? Yay, Milan, Indiana. Some of you who are not sports fans are like, who's that? Where's that? Who cares? But it is a small town in southeastern Indiana, best known for winning the 1954 state basketball championship, defeating a big team, right? It's known as the David and Goliath team, the David and Goliath story of high school basketball, high school sports. So you might remember, or you might know of the movie Hoosiers. That was based off of my hometown. So literally my entire life, I've been Jenny from Milan, right? And people were like, oh my gosh, Milan. Yeah, the 1954 Hoosiers. Like that is probably on my gravestone or in my obituary. It'll be like Jenny Baylor Swisher from Milan, Indiana. By the way, did you know that it's the home of the 1954 state champions, right? It's a huge part of my story. So I come off of Summit this past week or so ago, and I'm feeling really fired up, feeling like I have this really awesome, clear vision now of what I want to do with the business. And sure enough, then I get onto a market council call to talk about our upcoming Super Sunday that we have coming up this weekend. And I hear the rumor, which is a pretty legit rumor, that the theme for next year's summit is in fact based off of the team, the Milan team, based off of the movie Hoosiers, based off of Indiana basketball. And I'm like, okay, well now I feel like I already had this clear vision and I was already feeling really fired up, but now I feel like I can't not make this happen, right? This is a little bit of who I am. And so now it's just definitely something that needs to be a focus. So like I said before, kind of what I've been feeling, what I've been doing, this doesn't even cover all of them. But I felt like in the last couple of years that I've been not just, being a stay-at-home mom, not just figuring out how to be a mom and work my business at the same time, but I've kind of just also felt a little bit like one of these things does not look like the others, right? Like I feel like I've been a little bit, a lot of successful coaches in the business are literally blonde. And I don't mean that to be negative, but that's literally what, they're these gorgeous bombshells who have their whole life put together, or that's what it seems like. And it seemed to me for the longest time like I had to fit a certain mold in order to be a successful coach in the business. And I'm learning now that I really could care less about what everything looks like and what everybody else is doing, but instead that I have a certain power and a certain confidence level and a certain, I guess, just initiative that I want to take and intentionality that I want to take with this business that I think the network as a whole is missing. So I feel like I found sort of my spot in the company, right? Like my overall purpose for being a successful coach in the business. So that's sort of where I've been a little bit. I've dealt with lots of things in addition to that. My parents moved to my town. So they were in Milan. They were 2 hours away. And now they're literally across the street from me. They literally live in my neighborhood. My dad is disabled. So I help take care of him anytime my mom needs to get out of the house. Chris's parents also moved here. So they're about 20 minutes away. And his parents are dealing with some health issues as well. His dad just had knee replacement. His mom is dealing with some early Alzheimer's. So we're dealing with a lot of different things at one time, not just the toddler. We've got a lot of family responsibilities that we take care of. So basically at the end of last year, some of you guys already know this, like heading into fall of last year, I came up against the personal decision of what I wanted to do with our team, right? Like, did I want to push, literally push? Like, did I want to literally push people to a certain rank and push the team to a certain level in order to get the recognition personally? Or did I want to make sure that we were doing it in the right way? And it literally came down to that decision. Chris and I went to dinner in October. We had like a 2-hour dinner where we talked about, we weighed the pros and cons. Could we be an elite team? Sure we could, but what would be at risk for doing that? And I felt like I would have relationships at risk. I would have integrity at risk. And so I decided that that wasn't the way to go. So in the long run, we decided to just kind of slow things down, put a focus on our family, on moving, and to make sure that when we went for this big goal, that we did it in a way that was gonna ensure long-term success. So I'm just kind of setting up the backstory here. So a little bit about my why. You guys have heard this probably on national wake-up calls, maybe in our Coach Basics training, but we talk a lot about making sure you have a why, right? For knowing why you do what you do. A lot of times when it comes to our challengers, we talk to them about having a why with losing weight, right? Why do you want to lose weight? Because I want to be able to keep up with my kids, right? Okay, well, why do you want to be able to keep up with your kids? And then next thing you know, you start hearing these really deep personal reasons for why they need this in their life, right? Why they really want to accomplish a lot with their health and fitness. And a lot of times it has to do with keeping up with their children, being a better example for their family, living longer, getting off of medications, like really powerful things that really do impact lives. The same thing goes for our business. We have to have a reason why we do what we do. We have to know why we're working every day, why we're scheduling that power hour, because truth is, for many of us, right, for many coaches, this is not our number one priority. A lot of you guys are working other jobs. So it's important to have a reason for why you want to show up at your computer every day or why you want to show up to that Super Sunday event. And for me, it has evolved a lot in the last 8 years I've been coaching. So when I decided to make the business a business back in 2011, of course, if you want to be really clear, my first official goal was to earn enough money personally in my business that I could afford a cleaning person, because I really hated cleaning my house. And I'd heard from Chalene Johnson, like if you get rid of those tasks that you don't like to do, you can focus on the things that you do like to do. And so that was my first goal in 2010. In 2011, then it became, okay, I really want to leave this full-time job. I didn't feel fulfillment in my full-time job. I didn't really have a lot of human interaction. And so it became my personal goal and my why to leave that full-time job and be able to work for myself. In 2012, that happened. I left my full-time job in that fall of 2012. And then it became, okay, what do I want to do now? Like, I need to support this endeavor. I need to work, Chris and I had no kids at the time. We wanted to travel more. Chris was running. We wanted to be able to afford trips for him to go run places. So that was a reason why I sat down on my computer every day and why I worked the business, because I wanted us to be able to afford those opportunities. And then over the years, by the time we got to 2015, 2016, my sights became set on really becoming successful in the business, having a team that thrived, right? Not just being sort of a leader, but really being a leader and really creating waves in the business. And so that's when we achieved elite for the first and second time. And then my goals shifted, right? I got to 2016 and I was like, what is my next goal? What is our intention as a family? Like, what is our next step here? And honestly, my focus did shift to, if I really want this to happen and I want to become a family, I've got to put the focus on my family. I've got to really put the work into whatever it was going to take for me, whether it was fertility treatment or adoption, which is what it ended up being for us. It needed and it required my focus. So here we are, right? Like, that's kind of how my why has evolved. That's why I've shown up to do what I do, so that I can afford these things and so that I can work to having the type of life that I want to have. So in 2018, right, this entire year, you can ask Amy Snow. I worked with Amy Snow now for several years as my life coach. I've sat down with her week in and week out, and I've said, I just feel like I have such a lack of clarity. Like, I feel like I don't know where I'm going. And we did a mastermind group as a team for High Performance Habits, which was a Brendon Burchard book. I did the same mastermind group with my local masterminders, and I kept running up against the same thing, right? I would take the quiz, and the quiz would tell me that I was a strong leader and I had high performance habits in every other regard except my clarity. And that has never defined me. I've always been a very clear leader, and for whatever reason, the past couple of years, I have literally lost my vision. And so for me to come out of Summit feeling super excited and having that clarity and having direction is a huge deal for me personally, and I'm hoping it makes a huge difference for the team too. So I want to share with you sort of where I think we're headed for the rest of 2018. Now, this is not just based on wishes, right? This is not just like, this is what I wish to be, this is what I wish to have, this is what I wish to do. This is more based on like literally the numbers and the logistics, which I should mention that my husband has helped me take a close look at. By the way, the numbers I've avoided for so long. I have avoided it for so long. I didn't want to dive into my Coach Online office to see what was really going on. And so we literally sat down after Summit. We're like, let's see what's going on. And this is what we found. We found that we are a team of high quality leaders, right? There are, I would say, and I don't know this for sure, but my guess is that 80% of elite teams in the network are well over 1,000 coaches large, okay? Our team is half of that size. We're around just over 500 coaches strong. And for us to be making a push to become a 10-star diamond team with multiple star diamond leaders is a huge thing, right? It tells me that we have sort of a special caliber of individual that wants to join our team. We have people who are interested in personal growth. We have people who are coachable. We have people that really want to make this a business, whether it's a side hustle business or a full-time business, right? It's telling me that we have go-getters on the team. So we took a look at the logistics. We took a look at sort of where we've been, where we're heading. You guys know we've lost some leaders. We've gained some leaders. The last couple of years have been interesting to say the least. But I really feel strong that it really should be non-negotiable, that we can end the year as a 7-star team, right? Like there's no reason we cannot be a seven-star qualifying team by the end of the year. So I also have a personal goal of helping 4 of my personally sponsored diamond coaches become star diamonds. Like, I don't know about you guys, those of you at Summit, but I thought it was a really cool moment to see Abby walk the stage as a 1-star diamond. Like for me, that was a huge moment because it was like, I was just like, this is what I want. Like, I don't care if I ever walk the stage again, but if I can see you guys do it, it will just make me feel like I did something right? So it was a cool experience to see her walk the stage, and it made me realize that that's another thing that I want, right? This is something that I want for our team, is I want you guys to be successful. I don't want you to just hit a certain benchmark and like, woohoo, we hit the benchmark, right? You guys have no idea how prevalent that is in the network, to have a bunch of diamond coaches that never build thriving, but you can be a diamond coach and not have a thriving business. So it's not my goal to help you become a diamond for the rank or for the title. It's my goal to help you become star diamonds, because I know that star diamonds, that's where you're going to be earning the income. That's where I know you're going to be making an impact on your own family. You're going to be making an impact on your teams. You're going to be really leading your own tribes at that point. And that's what I really, really want. So become a 10-star team by next April, right? I think that's completely doable. I think that we have the leaders to make that happen. And so in the spirit of the movie Hoosiers, has anybody, hopefully you guys have seen it. I know you guys that are from Milan have seen it, so you don't need to raise your hand, but hopefully you guys know the premise of the movie, which is based on the true story, which is that good old Bobby Plump pulled up for that last second jump shot, won the game, David versus Goliath. So if we want to make a push to become a 3-time elite team this year, I'm telling you right now, it's going to look a lot like that story. It's going to look a lot like Bobby Plump taking the jump shot at the end of the game and putting that basket through the hoop, right? This is not something that we have in the bag at this point of the year. We're obviously over halfway through the year, but it doesn't mean that it's out of the question. Numerically speaking, it can happen, but it's a total team effort. So as I just said, right, my why has evolved and it's changed over the years. And I think the last time I did a vision webinar for you guys was probably like 2015. And it was before we had the big team cup surge and before our team really sort of advanced back, 2015, 2016. So it was obviously before Ellery was born. But here we are, 2018, and I'm doing it again. And the truth be told, like my personal why for this year and for the next 2 years is to be able to, number one, my personal why is to be able to afford adoption again, because we're ready to do it again, right? The second piece there is to be able to afford for Chris to be home for a year when that baby is born. And there's no reason that that can't happen, right? Because so far, every time that I've had a vision and a goal, it's happened, right? It's happened because I've made it happen. And I hope that that's something that you can take away as well. If you write it down on paper, you're more likely to make it happen. So this is my new personal why. So let's talk a little bit then, and for some reason my toolbar is blocking my screen, so hang on one second. Let's talk a little bit about, there we go, about the strategies behind doing this, right? So kind of our end of year strategies for our team. So the first thing I'll mention, and I'm just gonna touch on these things briefly, like I said, if I wanted to have gone into detail, we would have been here forever. So I will take these specific strategies and I will talk about them in our team page here in the next few weeks. But the first one is a Body Electric Success Starter Program that I'm gonna implement for my new 2018 coaches. So the coaches that I have recruited in 2018 and those that I will be recruiting in 2018 will have a special Success Starter initiative. You guys know that the company offers, I think it's like, you know, if you hit Success Club the first month, you get a call with Carl Deichler. If you hit it for 3 months, you get a free summit ticket. I'll be doing something like my own spin on that just for my own personally sponsored coaches in 2018, for 2018 coaches. And then also, this is really cool. I wanna offer monthly 5-day Shakeology sampler challenges. So those of you who've been around for a while know that we've done them, but they've been quite sporadic. My hope is to make it a consistent effort from July through December to run as a team these 5-day Shakeology sampler challenges. Now why, right? Like, let's talk a little bit about why we wanna do that. I wanna do that because I think that it's a great way for our coaches who are new to working the business, whether they're brand new or three years in the business, if they're new to working the business, I think it's a great way for those coaches to facilitate leads, to facilitate interest without a large commitment. So it takes away the barrier of entry, right? It takes away that, oh, I can't afford $130 or I can't afford $200. Instead, it makes it much more easy for people to say yes, but to say, hey, I'm doing this 5-day Shakeology sampler challenge. It's $25 to participate, very low cost, right? To try Shakeology. I'm really interested. I've started this new business. Would you be interested in doing my 5-day challenge and giving me feedback on what you thought about the Shakeology over the course of the 5 days, right? It's a very simple way to get our working coaches to kind of create interest, see who's already interested, and then possibly even convert them, hopefully convert them to full challenge packs by the end of that challenge. So I am gonna dive a little bit deeper into that here in a few minutes because I have a plan for July and I wanna make sure you guys know it. But that is one thing that I wanna definitely do. Third on the list is, of course, to have a diamond dinner and overnight experience this fall. So that will be something that we used to do that all the time. It was one of my favorite things, was just to get all of our diamond leaders together, treat you guys to something like dinner or to an overnight, and to just hang out, right? Like, just sometimes it was margaritas, sometimes it was wine, sometimes it wasn't, it was just a whiteboard, but we've had fun every time we've done it, and we've gotten away from doing that. Lots of us have had little kids, so it has definitely changed and shifted the last couple of years, but I wanna get back to doing those as well. Also, personally speaking, my goal is to bring 5 new coaches onto the team a month from now through December. Okay, revise Coach Basics. This is something that needs to happen. Some of the Coach Basics videos that we have on our website are not necessarily super outdated, but we have Share a Cart now. Beachbody On Demand looks different than it did when we did the videos initially, so they need to be updated. So my hope is to, I just pulled up Coach Basics today actually, and went through them all myself to see what needed change. So I'm kind of in the draft phase of revising the Coach Basics program. And I'll be sharing you guys more with you guys more details as I have them in the next couple weeks. So that's something that I definitely think needs to happen. Okay, and then of course, turning all of our challenge groups into social learning groups. So if this is unfamiliar to you, you can pull up on Facebook, you can pull up our 80-day obsession challenge group, which is called Body Electric Gets Obsessed. If you pull it up right now while we're talking, you'll see that that my assistant Ashley has literally organized everything into units. So on the left-hand side, you'll see the option to click on units. From there, you'll see that it's broken down into literally 80 days of content. So all the work that we did as a team when we first led 80-Day Obsession in January, all of those lead posts that we did, all of the live streams that we did about footwear and tech form and technique and everything, the motivational posts, the recipes, everything is all archived into those units of that page. So the cool thing about it is that now that we kind of have our sights set on Lift 4 and To Be Mindset and these other new programs coming out, right? I think last month out of my 8 new customers, 7 of them were excited about Lift 4. 1 of them wants to do 80-Day Obsession. But instead of me saying, oh man, I only have this Lift 4 group going on, I can plug this chick into our 80-Day Obsession group that has amazing content there, and she can get all the way through the 80 days plugged into that group with the people in that group who are still going, because you guys know there are some people who are literally obsessed, myself included, who are still doing the program. And so she can plug into there. We have somewhere for her to go, and that will just live on and on and on, right? So that's what we're hoping to do now with all of our groups, so that when the initial hype is over, that group still lives on, and we don't have to necessarily worry about continuing to lead posts or to have multiple groups happening at one time. Does that make sense? We don't have to worry about juggling everything at one time. So that doesn't mean, of course, that you're just going to take your new challenger and throw them into the group and be like, good luck. You know, hopefully you're self-motivated and you can figure this out. Instead, I'm hoping that that this will just be an awesome way to just get them plugged in with the right content. And then you, of course, as their coach, can still be along with them in the journey. Of course, there are other people in the group still going as well. So one quick thing that I will say that I really like about these social learning groups is that they have the ability for admins to see the progress of the people in the group. So when your challenger is going through 80-Day Obsession, you can see where they are. They're on day 14. They've completed the lead. They've seen the lead posts all the way through day 14, right? They're keeping up with things. Not saying that you shouldn't check in with them then, but it's giving you an idea of where they are with the program, which is kind of cool. So it kind of is sort of like online course meets Facebook group, and it's perfect for what we do as coaches. I think it'll be awesome moving forward. So my goal is to do that. We did that already, thanks to Ashley with 80-Day Obsession. We're going to be doing that with our what does it mean to be a coach group, To Be Mindset, and then the Lift 4 content that we lead will also be turned into a social learning unitized group as well. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm asking this, but I'm looking at a PowerPoint screen, so I'm assuming yes. If it's not okay, if you have questions, you can unmute yourself. So I've seen Chris, this is cool because I had this idea of doing something like this, and then I saw Christine Dwyer execute on the same idea, and I was like, this must be a brilliant idea because Christine Dwyer has the same one and she's doing it. So I think it's going to be a really great way to make sure we're not letting people fall off, making sure that we don't always have to be worried about like, hey, do we have any new start times for 80-Day Obsession coming up? Because I have this one person that wants to do it. Versus that, just makes more sense. So last but not least, group mentoring calls. So I've had the chance to do a couple of coffee chats with the Emeralds and above on our team here this summer. They've been on Monday mornings. Anybody Emerald and above are welcome to attend those calls. But I'm hoping to do that more and more. I'm hoping to do monthly new coach calls. If we're bringing on, 10 to 20 to 40 new coaches per month as a team, I want to bring those people onto a call at the same time. Those people need to get to know each other because they're coming on board at the same time. So my goal is to do these group mentoring calls with new coaches monthly and to continue doing opportunity calls like we're doing right now with Emeralds and above and so forth. So group mentoring is a huge deal when it comes to advancing our business. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be emailing the details of my Success Starter program to my 2018 personally sponsored coaches. So we don't need to worry about the details for that here. I'm not going to bore you with that. But the people who this applies to, you'll be getting an email from me with those details in the next couple days. So let's talk a little bit about this concept of the 5-day Shakeology Challenge group. I wish there was a way I could pull you guys up on the screen, but I don't think I can. Let me see. Oh yeah, okay. No, not really. Okay, so let's talk about these monthly 5-day challenges. So like I said before, I think this is going to be a great way for our new coaches to have something to invite to that they feel comfortable inviting to, or anybody new to working the business, right? So this is sort of my idea. When Chris and I talked about the logistics behind this and the strategy behind this, I hope you can hang on with me through this. This is what we came up with, right? So let me just preface this by saying this isn't required. This isn't like beach buddies telling me that this is how we need to do it. This is just Chris and I coming up with a strategy behind how do we want to be able to set coaches up for success, right? And if our first goal is to sort of reinvigorate this culture of Success Club, then we got to make sure that we're helping our coaches hit Success Club, which is the idea behind these 5-day challenges. So with these 5-day challenges, the idea is for them to sell themselves, I hope I'm saying this right, to sell themselves a 24-pack box of Shakeology samples. Now here's how I'm going to describe this to you. Chris and I are married. I decide that I want to become a coach, right? I say to my coach, I want to join your team. I'm super excited about this. You're going to have to tell me how to get started. How do I get people on board in a challenge group, right? Then my coach would tell me, we're going to set you up. We're going to get you started. Don't worry. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to help you lead a 5-day challenge group. Does that sound feasible for you? Do you think you could help me lead a 5-day challenge group? They're going to be like, yeah, just tell me what I need to do, right? So when they come on board, the idea is for you to say, like for the coach to say to me, if I'm the new coach, okay, how do you feel about Chris, your husband, buying a 24-pack box of Shakeology from you? Those sample packets will then be used for you to give to your customers, the people that decide that they want to try your 5-day challenge. Okay, don't worry, I have a graphic coming up for this, so it'll help it be clearer. So let's say Chris, she's like, okay, sounds good, but I need to understand the cost, right? So I'll show you that in a minute. But the idea though is to say, okay, Chris would buy the Shakeology sample box, the full 24-pack box from me, which would get me Success Club points, and it's the same cost to our family as if I would have bought those sample packs. Does that make sense? So it gets the coach 2 Success Club points right off the bat just from running a 5-day challenge group. Okay, and of course the end goal is to help them hit Success Club. So here's what it looks like. Option 1 and option 2. Either option is completely awesome, right? Either one is an option. So the first one, the spouse, so in this case, Chris, would purchase a Shakeology 24-pack sample box through, he would order it auto ship to save on the shipping. It would be $130 for Chris to pay for that challenge pack, or for him to, not a challenge pack, for him to purchase that Shakeology box. The commission to me as his coach, even though I'm his wife, is $30. So the cost to our family is $100. Okay? So then I say, okay, awesome. I got my vegan barista 24-pack of samples in the mail. Now it's time for me to go find my customers. It's time for me to find my challengers that want to do this 5-day challenge. I only have to find 4 people, totally doable, you guys, 4 people who want to do a 5-day Shakeology sampling challenge. $25, $5 a packet. You could pretty much come up with that. I'm just giving this as an example. If you wanted to charge $6 a packet, you can charge $6 a packet, but I'm just telling you what I would do. So if you give them 5 packets, $5 each, that's $25, right? If you get 4 clients, that's $100. Do you remember your cost? Your cost was $100. Signing 4 customers or getting 4 customers to do your 5-day challenge earns you $100. So you're breaking even on your cost. You've got 2 Success Club points on the board because your spouse ordered from you. And now you have these 4 people heading into the 5-day challenge who potentially could be interested in moving forward with you into a full challenge group. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. Option 2, because I think it was Rose this morning we had that call, and I think it was Rose that asked this question that made me think, or maybe Jackie, I don't know. But option 2, of course, is my personal favorite, but I think both options have to be presented to the coach when they start this. The second option would be for me to sign Chris, my spouse, as a coach with a challenge pack. Okay, still gets me the 2 points, so there's no difference in the Success Club points. It's a little more expensive for him to buy a challenge pack than it is for just Shakeology, right? So let's say that he orders a $160 challenge pack. He becomes a coach. The commission that I would earn as his coach, even though he's my husband, is $50, right? So the total cost to our family would be $110. So then you do the same thing. You go out, you've got your packets in the mail, you decide you're gonna recruit 4 people to do your 5-day sample pack. We already know, right, that gets you $100. So you earn $100. So in other words, you went in the hole $10, but you earn 2 Success Club points. You have your first coach on your team putting you halfway to Emerald, and you have these same 4 people that are now potentially going to move forward with you into a full challenge group. So I'm breaking down all of this tonight for the sole purpose that we're getting ready to do a 5-day challenge. That's why I wanted to get this information out. But so does this make sense? I think this, and I hope those of you who've been in the business a while see this and you're like, this is really smart. Hopefully that's what you're thinking. This is really smart because this makes it so much easier for new coaches to hit Success Club, and there's really no, it's basically getting them leads, and it's not causing them any extra cost to have their spouse purchase than it would be for them to purchase. Does this make sense? Okay, you're like, yep, got it. Move on. Okay, so our first 5-day sampler challenge is going to be the same week that we're starting Lift 4. I figured, why not just do it all at one time? So July 23rd through the 27th is a Monday through Friday. That still gives you 4 days after that group ends to close those prospects on a full challenge group, to close them on Lift 4, to close them on whatever it is you want to close them on. We're going with a smoothie theme. So who doesn't like a fruit smoothie in the summertime, right? Especially in these 90-degree days. I already have the graphics created. I'll be sharing them with the team tomorrow morning. So you can use those images to promote. So I would say, just personally, from personal experience, that you would want to have those Shakeology packets in the mail to your customers by July 18th. Okay, if you're wondering how these types of things are run, have no fear. We'll do it as a team. We have some recordings in the team page about 5-day sample groups. We will help you through it, but just know that this is going to be a great way and very low cost for you to be able to get people interested and get people in the door. Okay, cool. So shooting for the Diamond Dinner and Overnight to be this fall. My hope was to have all the details hashed out to share with you guys tonight, but we're so close, but yet so far. So I'm gonna wait just another couple days before I share that stuff. So, okay, so let's kind of break it down into what we've talked about so far. We're gonna revamp our Coach Basics training. We're going to really put a focus with team culture back around Success Club. I'll be sending monthly prizes for 3 and 5 Lives Club earners. They don't have to be my personally sponsored coaches. Just anybody on the team who hits 3 Lives Club or 5 Lives Club will be getting something in the mail from me. We used to do that several years ago. We're getting back to it. Social learning groups. We just talked about how we're going to, I'm using the word unitize some of our challenge groups so that they can be lifelong, lifelong content and awesomeness, group mentoring calls, etc. Okay, so what does this mean, right? Like, what does all of this mean? All of this is just sort of a culmination of ideas and strategies to help our team sort of rise to the next level, right? To really bring us to a new level of thinking. I don't think there are a whole lot of teams in the network or coaches. I don't even really think that it's really on the forefront of a lot of coaches' minds to be making sure that such high value is constantly delivered. And I just want you to know that that's sort of where all of this is coming from. Like, why are we unitizing our groups? Why are we focusing on 5-day sample challenges? Like, why is all of this happening? Because we want to make sure that the people who are buying into what we have to offer are being taken care of. We want to make sure that they are getting in the best possible environment for their personal growth, for their health, for their transformation, whatever the case is. Like, that is the end goal behind all of it. Okay. So this is how we're going to help our coaches succeed. This is how we're going to help our team succeed. These are the strategies that we have in mind. So, but it's still going to take this last second shot on our part for 2018. If this is something that we want to make a push for, I wanted to find a graphic and I forgot to do it. Honestly, I thought about it in the shower and then I forgot to plug it in. I wanted to find a graphic of sort of, you know, those like, I can't think of the name of the sport right now. Laura, you probably know it. Where just the people who row, like if there's like a legit Olympic sport for rowing and it takes like the whole team has to row so fast, so powerfully in order for that team to succeed. Yeah, you can tell me. I know you know it. Is it just rowing?
Rowing.
I thought there was something else. I thought there was like a fancy word for it. Okay. Well, go figure. It's just rowing. So, but it takes everybody rowing, right? Like at the same time, with the same power and same efficiency in order to win. And that's kind of how I feel about rounding out 2018. I feel like it literally cannot just come down to one person doing something. It has to be a full team effort. It has to be a last second shot. It has to be something that we all decide to go for. And that's the only way that type of thing would happen. So we're here to write our own story. I know, I looked around at Summit and I saw so many coaches on our team that I'm just like, it's so funny. Sometimes I have to think back to like how they started, right? Like we have coaches that have been around now for 4, 5, 6 years. We have coaches that are brand new. This was their first Summit experience. And I always like looking around and really thinking back to like how far each coach has come. And the coolest thing for me, right, I already said like seeing Abby cross the stage was a cool moment. But the coolest thing for me is really getting to witness every single coach's progress. And I really feel like, you know, I didn't know what I was missing in that regard. I always felt like I wanted to help people in their health and fitness, and I wanted to see them transform, and I wanted to see them lose weight. But it's even more rewarding, or equally as rewarding, to see somebody sort of come into who they are and have a certain level of confidence to really bring about to really see their own leadership potential, to watch them sort of duplicate that ripple effect. It's even cooler to see that. It's even cooler to see people succeed in the business, at least for me. So I'm here to help people achieve their goals, to lead healthy, fulfilling lives, but I'm also here to make sure that our team is doing that and to make sure that our team is succeeding as well. And so I like to watch every single person evolve into the person that they're meant to be. I think coaching helps us do that. I think our team's focus on personal growth helps us do that. But you got to plug in and you got to be all in, right? Like this is not something that I can do on my own or that the team can do without you. So I love this. For those of you who heard Sean Acor speak at Summit, I'm a huge fan of his book, The Happiness Advantage. But he says both of these quotes were too good for me to pass up. I had to put them both in here. But one is, for me, happiness is the joy we feel striving after our potential. So notice it doesn't say happiness is the joy that we feel after we've reached our potential. It literally says while we're striving after our potential. And then also, you can study gravity forever without learning how to fly. And I think that is so appropriate for so many coaches on our team and elsewhere, that we can sometimes think about it, think we want to do something, plan to do something, have the best intentions to do something, but it's truly action that's going to make you move forward. That's all it's going to take. And so I would encourage you to do this exact same thing with your team and with your family, right? Like, it has taken me, like I said before, it's been months, probably 8 to 10 months of me sitting down week after week with my life coach saying, I have no direction. I have no clarity. I can't think. You know, I have sleep deprivation. Like, I literally don't know what I'm doing with my business. And she would try to push me through it, work me through it, and ask me questions. And I just could never get there on my own. And so to get there, you know, after months and months of wondering what that was, and to be able to share it with my spouse and for him to see that vision and to help me strategize ways to make that happen, for me to then put it on paper, put it into this slide to share it with you guys, right? Like, this all takes courage And it all takes sort of a certain level of just being ready to commit and act and move forward, right? And you guys need this too. Like each individual on this call, everybody that's going to listen to it recorded, everybody has to have a why for sitting down at the computer and doing this work. Because you guys know that just like with the DVD or with the home workout, like if someone isn't there to hold you accountable to it, right, then you're never going to succeed with it. You're never going to show up and press play. The same thing goes with our business, right? It might not be pressing play, but it is opening up our computer, opening up our Facebook Messenger, opening up our social media, and getting to work every day. Why do we do it? Because it can be really draining, but if you know why you're doing it, you'll see the other side. You'll see the glass half full instead of half empty, and you'll know that the reason is on the other side. The reason is because you want to adopt that second baby, or you want to be able to bring your husband home from his job for a year, right? Those are really powerful whys. It's what's going to cause me to get up every day and work the business every single day for the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. But you guys have to have that vision too. And I can't tell you what it is, but you got to give it some thought. You got to put pen to paper, and you've got to share it with people who matter. So that's all I have for you guys. I have a cool video, but I couldn't figure out how to, I tried it earlier and I couldn't get it to play in here. So I'd rather just post it in the team page, and that way you guys can watch it on your own time. But does anybody have any specific questions? And I can't see you, so I don't know what you're saying. So hang on one second. It's been a while since I did this. Okay, stop share. Okay, cool. Does anybody have any specific questions about anything that I mentioned or anything at all? No? Okay. I don't believe you. Okay. So one thing I did not mention, logistically speaking, we have Super Sunday this weekend. I've posted about it in the team page. There is an Eventbrite link for you to buy your ticket, especially if you're in Indiana. I know we're having the event at the Ritz Charles in Carmel. I think they've put out the agenda, but if you haven't seen the agenda, the workout is last. So if you're trying to plan your day around that, the workout is last. I think it's starting at like 3:45-ish. But the corporate video and training will be before that. So I know Erica Buzzard is doing the training. That's about as much as I know about the specificity of the event. But I will be there. Let me know if you're coming. If you want to meet for lunch, we can maybe meet for lunch beforehand. But make sure you grab your ticket because we are capping that event at 200. So I think on Friday we had 130 tickets sold. So we were down to like 60 or 70 on Friday. So if you've not gotten your ticket yet, you want to grab it. I can't like let you go without anything. Like somebody's got to say something. Hi, Julie.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
The packets and everything you talk about, the Shakeology and the Safer packets, like it makes sense to us. Is there simple verbiage to explain that to somebody? Because
my hope is to do like a little either live stream or recorded video to teach people how to invite to this.
Okay.
But yeah, so what's going to happen is I've got a couple graphics that you can use on your social. They're really attractive images of smoothies. Who wouldn't want to scroll stop on a smoothie and be like, that looks good. I should do what she's doing. But that pictures of yourself drinking your shake or whatever, or making your shake, whatever, are good ways to invite to it. Anybody who has ever mentioned interest, but they didn't want to commit to $130 or to a challenge pack, going back to them and saying, hey, I've got this opportunity for you to try, 5 packets for $25 in a facilitated group led by my team. Would also be a good idea to get people interested. So that's what I would recommend. And then when it comes to talking to them, I find that people usually do best with less talking and more just like if they express interest, then it's kind of just like, okay, like the group starts on X day, I'll actually be mailing your packets to you. you can potentially, if you haven't ordered your packets yet, you can ask them, what they want as far as flavor goes. Ask for their address. I mean, I really think that this particular type of challenge group, there shouldn't be a lot of questions because it's not a huge commitment. I think you'll see more questions arise when there's a larger commitment, like a challenge pack commitment. With this, it's more like, do you want to try it or not? Do you want to give me your feedback or not? So that's kind of my suggestions on that. But as far as verbiage goes, it's going to be 5 days long. They're going to have sort of the base for their smoothie every single day with Shakeology. We'll be offering a recipe every single day for them to blend with. It's basically just like a taste test opportunity.
So the packets then are actually being purchased, it would be being purchased by my spouse to get those credits. It's not that they're going to packet purchase, but we would purchase the packets and then ship them to them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes it better. Thanks.
And honestly, in my experience, that's been the best way to do it. That's actually how I started my business in 2010 I don't even think anybody else was doing it at the time. I just was like, why don't I run a 7-day challenge? And so this is something that I had come up with then. And that's how I facilitated so much interest in in Shakeology and in my challenge groups, was because I was giving people these small little tastes and really delivering value in those small groups. So yeah, your spouse would order the packets from you. That would get you 2 points on the board. You then would have the goal of finding 4 people to get into your 5-day sample challenge group. And then of those 4 people, maybe you convert all 4 to a full challenge group for your next month, but it would only take 2 of those people to commit to get you to Success Club 5.
I had one other kind of question thought maybe. I was talking to a couple of my coaches about Emerald and creating a coach out of a spouse or family member. And I saw there's some stuff online, and I feel like, Jenny, you've shared some stuff with us too at some point about different ways that you can then keep that person active if they go for option 2 to sign on as a coach.
Oh yeah.
Ordering a second bag of Shakeology every month.
Yep.
That just might be helpful for them to see, especially if they do option 2. Here's all the ways that you can stay active without extra Shakeology.
Yeah. So what Jackie is saying is, if you remember the graphic where we showed the 2 options for the 5-day sample pack challenge, for option 2, if the spouse is enrolling as a coach, she's saying, how do we want to sort of proactively approach the topic of that spouse staying active, and that's a really good question. So as you guys know, you don't have to be on Shakeology HD to be active. If you are on Shakeology HD, you're automatically active, but you just have to have 50 PV. So now I feel like we've got so many different opportunities, pretty much anything that adds up to 50 PV on your coach retail site counts, for keeping you active status. So I have a graphic somewhere, but it's a little outdated. So I might just have Ashley create me a new one of some different ideas. But things like the Power Greens Boost or Focused Energy or Energize or whatever, there's so many different options, can really keep that spouse in active status, especially if that particular coach is trying to hold Emerald rank. But it can keep them active with something other than Shakeology. Just 50 PV is all it takes. So yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
My husband is already a coach
Uh-huh.
and already gets Shakeology. So if I ordered an extra box, I don't get any points off of him, but I would still get the PV and TV and discount.
Yeah, if your spouse is already a coach or has already ordered from you or whatever the case is, or you don't have another family member that would do that. I mean, really, you're just using their email address. If that's the case, then yeah, you can just order it yourself. Or you have the option to have the customer, if they wanted to order the 7-day sampler pack, they could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I found, this is just my personal experience. I have had more trouble with those 7-day sampler things from Beachbody, then it drove me insane, because what would happen is a customer would say to me that they wanted to try, like, they really thought they might like cafe latte, but they wanted to try chocolate. Well, they can't customize their sample box, right? So then it makes it a little challenging, because then you're like, well, you can either do the vegan one or the non-vegan one, but that's all you can really pick, right? So and the other thing that I experienced was, if someone ordered the 7-day whey formula, every different flavor, if they started their week off with greenberry, they had such a bad taste in their mouth. You see what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
They had such a bad taste in their mouth that they were kind of like negative from the get-go. So in my experience, the way that I did this in 2010, the way that I would continue to do this is I would put out there, like in October, you guys, my goal is to go back to that coffee group that we did last fall. And my idea is to do pumpkin spice, cafe latte. So you guys would be ordering that barista pack, whatever they come up with, you'll be ordering like your pumpkin spice. So you'll be sending them out, but you're not giving them much option. You're like, this is the theme of our group. The theme of our group is coffee. We figured you might like cafe latte and pumpkin spice if you're interested in our coffee challenge. Therefore, those are the sample packets that you're going to be getting. So Sue, to answer your question, if the person really does truly want to try every single flavor, then maybe that 7-day sampler is a good option for them to order. Otherwise, you could kind of go with the same concept and just order, whatever it is the team is doing, pumpkin spice and cafe latte or whatever, and then send those out.
I love the idea. I've got people who, of course, don't like the price, and they have migraines, and I tell them about you. And Abby Friend just posted that's helped her migraine. So I'm hoping I can say, hey, $20, give it a try. What have you got to lose?
Yeah, I mean, $25. People drop that on,
Yeah, on a couple of Starbucks.
2 people going to the movies and popcorn is more than $25.
Yep. Good idea.
Yeah. I think
So I just messaged Abby and Shauna, because they're all vacationing and having fun.
Yeah, they were all worried about where it was going to be recorded. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they'll watch it tomorrow. But so you're going to have graphics, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll have graphics. I will share with the team. I already have them, so I'll either share them tonight or tomorrow morning, but I have them ready for you. They're just to kind of give you an idea. People like to see appetizing things on their news feed, right? So we picked some pretty special looking smoothies for our photo. So, okay. Yeah, Michelle says, my husband gets performance instead of Shakeology. That's perfect. Okay, Rose, what flavors are you suggesting we buy? I usually don't give samples or sell samples other than chocolate, vanilla, cafe latte, maybe strawberry. So in my customer database, I think we did pull this report, I want to say a few months ago, and I think out of thousands of customers that have ever ordered from me, 2 people have ever ordered greenberry. Don't give out greenberry. But I think the majority of my customers order cafe latte or chocolate. Those are the 2, and they're the 2 most popular flavors in the company. Yay, Nicole! Nicole likes greenberry. I mean, some people do. My brother loves it. He's one of those 2 people that order from me constantly, the greenberry. But so I would say chocolate, vanilla, cafe latte. That barista pack, you cannot go wrong because all 3 flavors are good. But you kind of just have to see, for me, even though I drink vegan, most people don't. So when I do something like this, unless they specify that they want something vegan, which is very rare, I usually send out the black packaging whey formula. So.
Jenny, I was just going to throw in another good option for PV is beach bars.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. And I feel like people are, I don't know. That's what we've done too, because I had a little bit of extra Shakeology during pregnancy and stuff. It was making, everything was making me sick. But so I had extra Shakeology, and I bumped my Shakeology for a few months and did beach bars instead. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and it's not a bad idea. Like if you're somebody who keeps beach bars on hand, like we have a box of each flavor in our pantry. I even thought about that. I thought, for people who hop into my 5-day sampler challenge group, I might just throw in a beach bar just as like my gift to them, and then they get a taste for it. You can't try that beach bar and then not.
Yeah.
They're too good.
Yeah. Abby, yes, because I found that out the hard way. She is exactly right. Success Club, you do have to have 90 personal volume points.
Yes. Good call. Yeah. Although I just told Chris the other day, I wish the beach bar was double the size and a whole red and a whole yellow.
They are really helping my chocolate cravings though, like crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
So good. They're working on vegan for those too. They're working on vegan recover and vegan beach bars for 2019. So cool. All right, you guys. So any other questions or anything that I missed? No? Okay. All right. Well, this has been recorded. So anybody who wasn't able to attend tonight, I will have the recording up tomorrow morning. You guys can tag them in the comments so that they can see it there. It'll also be added to our website as usual. So over the course of the next probably 2 weeks, I'll be breaking down some of these ideas and helping people know how to invite to them, what to be doing, because I know we have a lot of new blood on the team that are looking for direction, and I want to make sure we offer that. So look for more live streams and specific information about some things we've talked about tonight. But just know that I'm not necessarily afraid to share my vision, but I'm also not necessarily afraid to really hold people to their potential. And I've seen leaders in the business do it in a way that's pushy. I've seen leaders in the business not do it at all when they should be doing it. And I feel like I have a pretty good grip on what you guys individually need to be most successful. And so if I come to you with suggestions, or if I come up with ideas for the team, just know that it's really for the overall success of the whole team, and it's for the overall success for your personal business. Like, I wouldn't be telling you to do it if I didn't think it was going to help you advance your business. So, okay, your recording will be up tomorrow. Have a great night, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. In the words of Ellery, bye-bye.